to repeat the swimsuit portion, so.
No.
Okay. Well, I'd say go ahead.
Let me pull up the agenda just so everybody knows what we're doing. As soon as I find it, too many things. There we go. So I am basically running the tech. This is mainly between Tom and John. I will mute everybody except those that are speaking at the time, simply so we keep everything down to a minimum. If you want to ask a question or have something to say, please unmute yourself, because that's not something I can do anymore. But this is where we're going to start. Tom's got the first part, then John's going to go over things, and when they tell me, I will bring up Club Central and the goals area and so on like that.
All right.
Sounds like a plan.
Very good. First, John, thank you for organizing this and all your help that you keep giving me. I'd like to welcome everybody here. This is going to be a good opening session. And before I make my comments, I want to make sure that the assistant governors have their assistant governor manual that Stacy Self put together that looks a lot like this. Great minds, John. All right. So it's a terrific resource. What we'd like to review is those who are here. Let's see. Rainey Davis, you're here, obviously. You will be supporting Mexico, Paris, and Vandalia. TJ on the call. I don't see him here. George, you'll be supporting the strong area of Cape, the 3 Cape clubs and the Jackson Club. And Kim.
Hey, put my name down as Skip. I hardly answered. George hardly turns my head. That was my dad's name.
You know what? I have the same problem. My name is Edward Thomas Drennan, and if I hear Edward, I don't even look. So
I know. Put me down as Skip, and also I'll get the book. But I think the book is maybe with the last one that we had, and he said he was going to get me some stuff. He hasn't got it yet, but I'll find it.
Mr. Pujol, I think.
Yeah, Joe Pujo.
Yeah. Also, Stacy's trying to log in. So Skip, thank you for that. Kim, you're going to be taking care of Piedmont, Poplar Bluff, and Reynolds County, Ellington.
Yes.
That's awesome. Sue, you'll be looking after Florissant, St. Louis, Club 11, Webster Groves, and West St. Louis County. And,
Right.
And the Rotaract of St. Louis U. Pam. Donna Marie, you'll be in the Westplex, Montgomery County, Warren County, and Wentzville. And Nelda, I see you there. You'll be taking care of Hayti, Kennett, and Steele. And let's see who. And Dan's not here. Did I miss anybody that's on the call? Okay, just to reiterate, we have an opening in Area 1, which is St. Genevieve, St. Francis County, and Perryville. I think our DLC is going to go over that and try to get some help. I'm hoping from the district governor line, which if they're able and willing. Let's see. Okay, now for some comments that I've been putting some thoughts on paper. This is addressed pretty much to the assistant governors. I ask that you review the role and responsibilities in the AG training manual. It's to the point, will be a great roadmap to follow during this unusual year. I expect the AGs to find a way to connect with club leaders and be a resource to them, find out what's working with strong clubs, and offer some encouragement to the other clubs. With that in mind, I ask you to embody our Rotary theme this year, that Rotary opens opportunities. Many communities are facing a new set of circumstances that they may not be equipped to handle. And Rotarians are leaders, and I would ask that you AGs use skills to assist clubs provide service to the communities. A goal that was brought forth from Rotary International Assembly in January was about adding Rotarians, and more specifically, they're looking to add clubs. There's a great video that's been shown. I've seen it at least 3 or 4 times lately, and it's about how it's an animated look at a community and how people there may not be able to go to a Rotary meeting on a Wednesday at noon or a Thursday afternoon or lunch meeting. And yet there's still many, many people who are looking for opportunities to serve, and we need to help fill that. So assistant governors, I'd like you to keep your eyes and ears open for areas that are underserved, that we might try to have a concerted effort to form a club or a satellite club. It is a lot easier to start a satellite club than it is a full-fledged Rotary club. So if you need help doing that, we have some people that I know and other members in our DG line know that are pretty good at setting up a satellite club. I want to support your efforts to grow membership. At the same time, we want to retain our current members. We need to make sure that keeping them engaged, at the very least, make sure that your clubs you deal with reach out to those members who may not attend meetings or may not go to a Zoom meeting, to let them know they're not forgotten. And a lot of these people have been Rotarians for quite a long time, and we don't want to let them slip away. We want to help them. And finally, John's going to lead into this a lot, but goal setting is vital for club success. You can't hit a target you're not aiming at. And the shotgun approach really doesn't work. I'd like to look at these clubs and look at what they're doing. I'd also encourage all the club presidents to donate to the foundation and to polio if at all possible. It's hard to ask club members to donate if you don't do it yourself. We also, we have a great leader in the foundation this year, Linda Poobauer. She's going to be very dedicated to advancing the many causes of the foundation. And she'll be reaching out to the AGs and to the clubs to move the foundation forward. So with that being said, we're going to talk about goal setting, and I'd like to turn it over to John because John is an expert on goal setting and helping clubs toward success.
All right. You prefaced me with an expert. Is that was a preface or a subtitle? I'm not sure, but you know, we want to have these meetings each month. We scheduled an hour. We don't want to take any more time than we need to cover the subject. We're going to keep the subject pretty well focused on one thing. And tonight we're going to talk about goal setting because it's the beginning of the year. If we would have had an in-person president-elect training in Jeff City last March, goal setting would have been one of the big topics. And it is twofold. The secretaries this past year, we would have still had secretary training, and they're informed as to how you go into the database and put goals in. And in the other room, you have the presidents, and you talk about setting goals as a work plan for the year. So we explained that as best we could when we had our virtual pets a couple of months ago. And we've been asking the presidents, current presidents, last year when they were president-elects, for several months to work with their club, past presidents now, find out where they were, go to their board, find out what kind of goals they want to set for the year. But it's not, I say goal setting is not a task, it's a process. And the reason I say it's a process, it's because it's like any of our businesses. If you're in business now or you were in business, you got to have a goal. You got to have something you're shooting for because that's the way you're going to work throughout the year. There's no grade, and despite many people's beliefs, there are no Rotary police. But we're asked as a past club president and as a past governor, we're asked, set goals within your club. The president of Rotary International has goals. You know, that's why they set the citation, the goals. And you get awarded or you get recognized for reaching certain things within those goals. So goal setting is not just a technical, who's going to do it in your club. That's not the point. We've got to talk about it with the club. And as assistant governors, we've got the ability to talk to those presidents. Have you thought about your goals? What are you going to do here? What might you do there? And if the answer is, we're going to get to it, we're working on it, I would strongly suggest you say, well, can I come to your next board meeting? Can I help? Can we talk about it? And the reason I'm saying this, look at the end of the line. And I'll give a good example of a club, and at the end of their year, when they were doing the changeover ceremony, the president went back through the whole list of things that they accomplished. And unless he took really darn good notes all year, I know where he got the information. He went back to the Gold Center and he looked at what the club had set to do, and he brought all these things to their attention. It takes a little time, but if you don't take time, and of course, we're talking to you guys because you're the assistant governor. You're not the club, I understand that. But it's how we can work with the club presidents to see if we can get their interest on setting a goal. And believe me, I'm doing this with my own club constantly. I've been doing it ever since I got on the DG train. I said, you guys are going to probably think I'm overbearing, but I'm going to continue to harp on, we need to set goals as a club. And so you work on these several areas: membership, foundation, engagement, youth. How are you getting new clubs in membership? Not only your own member, but club expansion. Many, many goals. Now, you go to Gold Center, which helps get this thing going. Now, a couple of years ago, and it's in the binder. I don't know where that particular tab is, where we put it in here listing all the different areas of goals, which is one of the main things we wanted to talk about tonight to make sure you had the binder. Section 11 is the section that gives us more information as to how do you go into Rotary Club Central. I did check. There's a way to know who is in Rotary Club Central. And I verified that everybody's on this phone does have an account. And that's encouraging, because as an assistant governor, you certainly should have an account. Now, your challenge is going to be to check to see if your club presidents have an account in Rotary Club Central. Because if you don't have the account, you can't put your goals in. I had a experience a couple of years ago when I was the annual foundation annual giving chair as a DGND. And I'm working through all year. I'm talking to these presidents. And I'm saying, man, are you gonna talk about a goal maybe for your foundation? And they finally admit, John, I've been working on this for months and I can't get in. Oh, thank you. So then we start to check. Well, the first thing is you gotta have a login, you know, and then you've got to go to the Goal Center to put your goals in. Well, believe me, there are going to be presidents out there, maybe some of your clubs, maybe not. But if the president or the secretary doesn't have a login to Rotary Club Central, Rotary.org, and then you get into Rotary Club Central, they can't put the goals in. But again, that's the technical part. And the thing that we want to stress the most is the process of working with your club presidents, and for that board to work with their members to talk about the goals that they might want to set. My own club president contacted me a couple of months ago and said, John, we really want to put some realistic goals in. We're worried about membership. It's nice to say we want to grow membership by 5, 10, whatever. She says, we're worried about keeping the people we have. Is it wrong if we put a goal in that's less than what we have? Well, I thought about that and I thought, well, it's kind of discouraging. But I said, Donna, it's not wrong. It's a goal. And in today's time, it may be a very realistic goal that she's looking at what are they going to lose? And we're losing people in Washington, there's no question. So she put a goal in. Now, hopefully she'll beat that goal. That'll be nice. When you talk about your foundation, you want the clubs to have a foundation chair. And that's great. But then they have to talk about contributing to the foundation. And it's a foundation goal. So they have to be active. So this whole goal setting thing is not a matter of going into Rotary Club Central, plugging in some numbers and saying, okay, I set my goals. That's not it. You got to work at it. Every one of these things you have to work at. If the club goes down the list, picks the goals that they want to, and you can pick them. Now there's a few that we would certainly hope you pick, and that's foundation and membership. But you pick your goals. How many new members you're going to get? Put a number in. How many foundation dollars are you going to get to the annual fund? Put a number in. Polio Plus, put a number in. But putting the number in is not going to make it happen, right? You got to work with the club members. You got to talk to the club. It's a perfect club business meeting. So when you're talking to the president and talking about goals, oh my gosh, I got more stuff to worry about than that. We're worried about what we're trying to do as a club. Okay, what are you worried about? Well, we can't get people to participate. Duh. There's a goal for member engagement. There's a goal for when you have a social activity, how many people participate? When you have a service project, how many people participate? How many hours do they work? At the end of the day, you would like to look at your club and say, by golly, our club has got 50 members and 48 of those members have worked at one time or another during this year. And we provided 5,000 hours worth of service to our neighbor. You're building a news article for the local paper. You're building a news article to send to Tom, District Governor Tom, so that he can put it in the newsletter. This club support their community with X amount of hours and X amount of people. And it gets contagious because if we see a club of 50 members, 25 members, and they have 95% of their members engaged throughout the year, all you're doing is keeping statistics. But if you can talk about those statistics and talk to your club and keep encouraging them, look guys, last month we had an event and X amount of people showed up. And everybody, oh, that's great. Enter the information into the database so that you can keep track of it. Unless you have an extraordinary organization within the club that you're going to keep all these things tallied. But then again, the other reason is, why would you want to do that? There's a database to put it in. A little bit off the subject, but I was visiting a club last year and one of their subjects was, we're trying to get our spreadsheet up to date so we know all of our members and we have their email addresses. Wow. They don't know what DAC-DB is. Why do you want to create a spreadsheet when it's already in a system that we're populating and well, we're paying for it? You know, it's just one of those things. So goal setting is, it's not a task. There's a task associated with it, but it's a process. And we want the assistant governors and the governor line. That's the purpose of this meeting tonight. Tom is the leader trying to get all the clubs excited about this year, about the opportunities that we have. Our job, supporting Tom, and that's the DG line and the AGs and all the different people involved, is to take that message back to our clubs as assistant governors. My club, we have an assistant governor, but we also have me. We have a past district governor. So, I mean, if my club doesn't know about goals, we ought to get smacked. And it's my job to make sure that I present this to my club president, and it's Dennis Hartman's job as the assistant governor to make sure he works on it too. And in a supportive, nurturing way. It is not something that we have to do. You know, it's highly encouraged. You know, it's for the health of the club. And if you want to dig deeper, and we're going to dig deeper throughout the year on these different things on how to create better clubs that we have. But we chose tonight to talk about goals because what do we have? We have 11 months and 2 weeks left. And Margie is on the line, and Margie was interested in these goals. And Margie and I talked 3 weeks ago, and she says, John, what do we need to do about this citation stuff? I said, well, you got to get it in the database. Well, we did everything. You do everything, but if you don't record it, you know, I mean, it's feel good for the people that do it. But, and again, it's very nice for the committee chair to know that they had 95% participation. But unless the committee chair tells the president and the president tells the members, then really nobody knows how many people participated. You know, they know there was a big crowd. I know there's a big crowd whenever we have our events, but I'm always curious, well, how many people participated? How many hours did we contribute to service in our community? So it's the goals. Now, I think I beat that horse to death, right? Dave, let's see. We're going to talk about my Rotary account. Okay. Everybody's got one. Now, whether you use it or not, I don't know. But as an assistant governor, you've got the level of authority to go into my Rotary, Rotary Club Central, Goal Center, and look at your area, and you can pick out your 3 clubs or 4 clubs or 2 clubs, however many clubs you have assigned to you. As long as we did the job that we needed to do as leaders to get the database right. And I got to tell you, I spent a lot of time last year, the early part of the year, getting one straight because I just didn't have it done right. And the AG kept calling me saying, I know you're telling me I can do it, but I sure can't get in. So don't wait. We have to be brutally honest with each other, and we have to humble ourselves. If you leave this call and you say, I heard everything you said, but I don't have a clue as to what you're talking about, give me a call. Give Dave a call. Give Tom a call. Call somebody else if you want and say, what are they talking about? I want to get better at this, and I just don't know. The help system within Rotary Club Central, it's very good. It's always helped me. I would like to say that I'm good at it, but you don't do it constantly. We have help available at Rotary headquarters. We have what we call regional support. Darwin, San Pedro, club and district support staff is ours for our district, and that's Darwin, San Pedro, and Greg Franks. And if you get tied up in something and you say, man, I need some help, if you contact us and I say, you know, Tom or myself or Margie or Julie, and if we can't help you, our next call is going to be to Darwin and say, man, we need some help. Can you get us out of this? Can you get this? Can you help me get this fixed? It happens. It happens. You know, the database is only as smart as us, right? The users. So you want to make sure that you go into Rotary Club Central. And again, it's in the book. It's in tab 11, which I reminded you when we were talking about this. All the goals are in here. Now, the issue is, I checked to make sure that everybody that's on the phone had an account, so I'd keep everybody honest. But the point is, you're going to come up with a club president that says, I don't know how to do it. I can't make it happen. Get the book out, walk them through it. And again, if you're unsure and you really don't know how to walk them through it, contact us. We got to work together on this and get the goals put in the data. But I'll still back up. They got to have the goal in the first place. They got to have the want to make a good action plan. And then you look at the goals and you're a small club and you say, oh my Lord, there's no way I can do all these. That's okay. Pick 4, 5, 6. Pick some, but set a goal and work with your club to say, this is the stuff we're going to work on this year. And Tom's going to do that. You know, it's early in the year. We're only into our 3rd week now. But as the momentum gets going, we continue to talk about membership. We continue to talk about new clubs. We talk about satellite clubs. We talk about Interact, Rotaract. They're all in the goals. So don't just think that it's something for somebody else to do. There's nobody else that's going to do it. There's nobody else that's going to do it. It's the governor to set the direction and give everyone the encouragement and lead us through the year. And the reason the assistant governors, you know, are a part of that is because the governor can only be in one place at one time. Yeah, I mean, that's not rocket science. So we're divided up. We've got 3 clubs. Maybe some of us have 4 clubs. You work with those clubs. You want them to be the best that they can be. And if you start looking at, you know, manage your club, be a vital club, it starts out with goals. What do you want to do? Select the goals, enter the goals, update the goals. People are going to get busy this year. They're going to forget about it. The easiest thing for the assistant governor to do is go back to the president. We've been asking them to set goals now for 6 months. There's no question about it. And I say we, I have, and I know Tom has. No question. By now, everybody should have goals. Your job is to go into Rotary Club Central, look at your clubs, see what the goals are. Hopefully you will be excited and pleased that your club has goals. On the other hand, don't be discouraged if they don't. Because I'll tell you, there are clubs that won't put a goal in until maybe, I don't know, if they do it at all, next May or June. And that, you know, I don't mean to be demeaning in any way, but it's just something that people, they don't put a priority on it. So we need to remind them, we need to coach them, we need to work with them. Can I help you set a goal? I noticed you don't have any goals in. Somebody just sent a chat that checked with theirs and they don't have any goals. And it's like, okay, you're not going to fix it all overnight, but get on the phone with them. Say, hey, I was getting ready to come see you guys anyway. Are you going to have a club meeting or a board meeting? Maybe I could come. We could talk about goals. Maybe you can help them. Maybe you can help. Maybe you can talk them through the fact that they might want to consider, well, how many new members do you think that they might get this year? Or like my club, how many members do you think we're going to lose? What's that number going to be? Either way you go, it's a goal. Foundation, same way. Service project, how many hours? How many people in your club do you think are going to participate? Throw a number out there. And you know, the other thing about it, we're not getting paid for this. I used to set goals where I worked. And I knew what the consequence was because it was one of these appraisals where you worked with your boss, you set the goal, and then you got appraised for it. And I knew doggone well, if I set a goal to do something and I didn't do it, I was going to get criticized for it. We're not getting paid for this, guys. If the goal, if the goal turns out that it's very lofty and it's like, oh my God, what was I thinking when I put that down? Change it. Change it. You want to be realistic. But it's a work plan. When I did pets a year ago, I talked about goals. I didn't like the term goals because, you know, it's a turnoff. People don't like goals. Forget about it. It's an action plan. It's a work plan. It's a strategy for your club. I don't care what you want to call it, but it amounts to this thing called Goal Center in Rotary Club Central, where you can go in club by club, put in members, participation, Interact Club, Rotaract Club. You know, if you live in a college town, St. Louis is a prime example. We've got one Rotaract Club in the metropolitan St. Louis. Look at how many colleges we have. And any club can say they want a Rotaract. You don't have to have the college in your backyard. I saw Basil's name on here. St. Charles was working on a Rotaract Club for 2 or 3 years. They finally got one going. You know, and of course, then the virus hit, so I hope they're still alive. Let's see. Skip down in Cape Girardeau. They talked about the same thing. They finally got a Rotaract Club down at the SEMA. So if you write it down and make some sort of a commitment to it, then you got a halfway decent chance of at least talking about it through the years. But it's not to be done in a vacuum. You can't sit down with the president and put goals in unless the president's going to take them back to the club. And I put that form together. I know Stacy put it in the book, and you can create your own. It doesn't make any difference. But here's the goals. Here's the date they were presented to the club or the board members of the club, and they were accepted by the board, and then they were presented to the club members. So it's a process. Dave, maybe it'd still be good to bring up Club Central if you don't mind, like you and I were looking at before the meeting, and we can just go to the dashboard and
So this I've got up right now. You should be able to see most all of the screen. And this happens to be my club. I can pick on mine. Well, it's Tom's too, but anyway. So obviously goals have not been entered yet, but this is what you would see. So I have access because my role within the zone, I have access to a whole lot more in Club Central than you all have. So I'm trying to keep it to a minimum. It will show your district. It will show the clubs by group, area 1, 2, 3, and so on. Or you can just come down here and pick whatever club you want to work on. So you can pick your own club out of it. I pulled mine up simply because I felt it logical to throw our club under the bus since I'm part of the club. So you can, John, you tell me what you want and I'll run it. I'll just do the tech Hemi.
It's just kind of a review, but you see along the top here, you got members and engagement. You got the foundation giving. Click on that one, Dave. Foundation. So everybody knows.
Nobody has goals yet.
International can't do anything that it does without the foundation. That's why the foundation was created. And we talk about Polio Plus contributions. We talk about the annual fund contributions. The numbers are pretty basic. They're pretty basic, but I can't come up with it right now. Polio, $100 a member, if you choose that, or maybe annual fund, depending on the size of your club and your past. Up here, if you're trying to help a club, I did this. They say, gee, I want to put a goal in, but I have no clue. What did we do last year? Oh, that's easy. See up on the top there where it says 2021? So if you look back, there you go. There's Overland's results from last year. So if Tom was working with his club or his assistant governor's working with his club, look at the history. Say, here's what you did last year. You got the same amount of members. Everybody's still healthy. Why don't you use that as a goal? Why don't you add a couple percent to it? It's information that you as an assistant governor have access to for your clubs. That is very important for you to know. And you need to go in there and take a look at that stuff. Do it because you have the time and want to, and that way, when somebody hits you with a question, you know where to go to look it up. I try to practice what I preach, and that when that comes to mind, I went through this afternoon. I went through it last week. Transitioning from governor to a past governor, there are certain things that I can't get to anymore, but the basics, I still can. And of course, the way Stacy put this book together for us all, as long as you can, look at the slides that you printed off, we've got plenty of information. And there's also help. How would I find the help on here, Dave? Can you get us to that?
Well, the contact us is one. John, if I may step in for just a moment.
Yeah.
There's two ways you can do it. Like you said, you can do the look back, or if you select on show goals and detail history, it gives you a 5-year history. So you can see where they were. So if you enter a goal, I'm not able to because of whatever reason I'm not. If I want to select that goal and I'm going to put in, 10,000, all I have to do is hit save. That goal is now registered. I'm not going to do that because I have not talked to our club president yet. But that's where, it would seem fairly logical. We've done 10,000 for the last 3 years, so let's do it for the 4th year. But contact us. It will open up a separate page. We're at the mercy of Rotary at this point. And it will give all the information, then you give your request. What subject? What is it? Brand center. In this case, it's going to be club goals, and then you're going to put in whatever it is. However, this also gives the phone numbers of who you can call. It also gives you club and district support representatives. John mentioned Darwin and Greg Franks. Greg is actually Darwin's boss. Well, that's nice. How do I find them? So I'm going to go here, district number 6060. They're all in numerical order, so we're going to drop down a little bit. Too far. And again, we're at the mercy of Rotary. It will take a second. And here gives email and phone number. So if you have an issue, I would go to Darwin first. Although to be honest, he is a little bit harder to understand. He definitely has an accent. But I don't like going to the supervisor before I've talked to the individual in charge. That's my personal thought. You can, each one of these can be done that way. Once the goals are entered, it will show up. You hit save and you move on from there. Each one of these is the same way. How many new members do you want to add? Service project hours, and so on and so forth. I'm going to shut up again, John, and you just tell me what you want as you need it.
I think that was great. Just,
And
you know,
of course, I said I'm going to shut up. So what I do, I start talking again. Sorry. Under resources, step-by-step guide, how you do it.
there you
So-
go. That's what I was looking for
Yep.
earlier, resources. Yeah.
Before you, and this to me is before you go call somebody or email somebody, this might be the way to do it. You know, do some legwork on your own and then go with it from there.
Can I say something? This Basil. First of all, I apologize for being 30 minutes late. For some reason, I had put down that we started 6:30. So that's my fault. But as far as help from Rotary International, there's so much information on their website that it's almost scary. I've been in it for hours, and it's a tremendous amount of information. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with going into Rotary International, but just be aware. It takes me about an hour. After an hour, I have to get out and do something else, or I'm going crazy.
So Basil, if I can make a suggestion to you and to everybody else,
Yeah.
and I've said this in front of Rotary staff members, Google is your friend.
Right.
Rotary-Club. So this gives learning, citation and goals instructions, and so on and so forth. You saw how fast this came up?
Yeah, and I have used that.
Yeah, Google is your friend. I would put in Google. In Google, I would use Rotary or Rotary International, and then the specific thing you're looking for, or the specific thing, then Rotary International, because setting goals, you're going to get 15 billion hits because of every organization and so on.
Right.
But if you use the search feature on Rotary right here, you're liable to be there for a while. I have said that in front of John Huco and in front of one of the RI presidents, and they both agreed.
So we went through the discussion on goals. I'm seeing a couple of comments in the chat box, and an interesting thing comes up more than once, and that is an AG trying to contact a club. I'm glad it came up because it's more widespread than we think. The thing that we need, something that I think we need to do is find out from our clubs what is their preferred method of communication. I will give an example from last year. I visited a club. They were not really technically tuned in. They said, man, I just don't do it. I don't do email. I thought, oh boy, that's a challenge. So then I thought, do you pick up the phone? And anyway, at least there was a dialogue with this group. And they got the point that that's okay, but somehow or other, we need to figure out how to communicate. So what they did, what this particular club did, is they went into DACDB to the profile of the president, and they put the email of the secretary or the president-elect. I think it was the secretary. But nevertheless, from there forward, when I sent email to the club presidents, and this is something Tom would do, send mail to the club presidents, then this mail for this particular club would go to the secretary, and the secretary would respond. If you have clubs that you cannot contact, and it won't be new, let me tell you, I had the same problem last year as governor, and I got a feeling Tom's going through the same thing, and Margie's even talked about it, trying to find presidents-elect for this coming year. Everybody communicates different. A lot of people even this past year, I talked to a president. I talk to him every so often. He said, oh, I got to be honest with you, John. I'm not the best at email. If you want to call me, or maybe send me a text. So we get into this mode of operation that we send out an email to everybody, and we think, oh, they all got it. Everybody's got my email. No, they don't. Some people do email. Some people don't do email. They might be late. Figure out from your 3 clubs. I even went so far as to writing a letter and stick it in the mail saying, how in the world am I supposed to communicate with you so that I could work that out. In many cases, communication is not on, top of everybody's head, because they say, well, my club knows who I am. They know where I live. They stick a note on my mailbox if they want me, and everything's fine. So don't be bashful, and if you can't get a hold of your club, maybe ask Tom, hey, I'm trying to get a hold of so-and-so. Have you ever gotten a hold of him? And he might say the same thing. No, I'm trying to do the same thing. Well, all of a sudden, now we got a problem. Now we got to figure out how we can do it. So, and it's crazy, but it's true. It's crazy, but it's true. And I know there's a number of you on the phone right now that would agree and say, yeah, I'm in the same boat. But Rotary is a big thing. It's a local thing, but it's a big thing. I visited more than one club last year where they said, John, you keep talking about all this international stuff and everything we should do with colleges and high schools. Is this a community-based focus or not? And I said, well, it is community-based focus, but we have to have a global vision. And that's our chore as district leaders. Our chore as district leaders is to make sure that our clubs are alive and well and doing what they do best, which is serve their community. But if we can just raise their level of awareness to a district level and an international level, it'll make a world of difference. It'll make a world of difference. And I'm not saying that so that they contribute more money to the foundation. I'm not saying that, so that they go out and create a new club, which would be a wonderful thing. I'm just saying that somehow or other, sometime this pecking order within the district gets lost. And I've been to a number of you when I visited your clubs last year. I got to know who you are and where you are. Do I wear a coat and tie or do I walk in with a sports shirt? It makes a difference. It makes a difference. We're not from St. Louis coming out to the country to see these clubs. We are Rotary and Rotarians working within our district. And we just happen to have a long, skinny district. We've got a metropolitan area in the middle, and we've got everybody else that goes from one end to the other. But getting a little off the subject there, but goals and communication, and that's the reason we're talking about it tonight. Because if you have clubs that haven't set goals, that's not going to be unusual. Don't be discouraged, but work with them, talk with them, talk about goals. If these clubs would like a program, I'll throw my name out. I'd be happy to talk about goals. Tom is going to be visiting all your clubs, so there'd be another resource. If you're talking about foundation goals, Linda Poobauer would be the one. If you're talking about membership goals, Bill Dees would be the one. But it's a reoccurring thing, guys. Where do you want your club to go? And how are you going to help them get there? And the primary way to do that is by setting goals. So the goals, again, not to be too repetitive, but I will be. The goal setting is a process. Putting them in the system's a task. And the interesting thing about the task is within the level of responsibilities, the president's got the authority to put them in. However, if you have a president that can't make that happen, you want to encourage them to call you because you can do it for them. And if you're not comfortable doing it for them, call somebody else. Call Tom. Tom can do it for them. Dave may or may not be able to help. I think Dave could probably help. I think right now I might have a little security, but when it comes to goals for a club, it's normally the club president's the one that's got the authority to do that. And correct me, Dave, is that the president and the secretary?
Yes, the president and the secretary, and I have access to all of it.
Okay.
Again, because of my role at Zone, for those that don't know, I am in my second year as a regional Rotary Foundation coordinator. I have to say that slow. RRFC. So I'm in charge. I assist and advise the 3 districts in Missouri, 6040, 6060, and 6080. And because of that, I have more access in all of this because of what Rotary has granted me at the zone level. So yes, that I would be available. Long-winded way of saying it.
All right, we went through a lot. I think we stayed on track with what we wanted to do, and that's simply talk about goals. We're going to do this every month, and the whole idea is for the assistant governors to be in touch with the current governor and the DGE and the DGN and the DGND, and because we're the district leadership, and club ratings. That's another thing. It's not a goal, but it's in that Rotary Club Central. Oftentimes we hear from an assistant governor way too late in the process, man, this club is struggling. Man, they're just losing people like crazy and they just need this. Put it in the club ratings. Put the comments in there when you visit the club. Let the governor know. We want to know. We want to help. And that's the theme. You're there to help your clubs. We're there to help you and to help the clubs. The governor's there to help us, to help you, to help the clubs. All the way up. You call Darwin San Pedro, he'll bend over backwards to help us. Our success is his success. And it just goes up the line that way. So I'm looking at the clock. Tom, we're going to turn it back to you because we said we're going to be done at 7. So you got any comments?
Thank you, John. Terrific job. And there's only 11 and a half months left. And if you set a goal now, you can start working on it. I know most of you probably know I'm a avid cyclist, which is, and I hate to put a 0 in I record every day if I ride or not, and I hate to write the 0 down because it's, 0 doesn't average out with anything very well. So also if clubs are looking for ways to increase their giving on goals, reach out to us because I'm proud of my Overland Club. They find ways to raise money for the foundation. And back to another subject John alluded to, when clubs in the rural areas say, we do things locally. Well, that's true, but what having been in the river transportation business for years, a lot of this corn we see growing on the left and right-hand side of the road, a lot of it is being exported, and that's going around the world. And so, yes, we're even in the rural areas, it's a world economy. So I think a little help for Rotary projects throughout the world is not really out of the question when you realize that without the export market, a lot of our rural areas would not be doing so well. And I forgot to mention this fact that Rotary has had about 1.2 million members worldwide for years. And yes, that's good, but they're not all the same 1.2 million. We have people coming in, people going out, and we want to try to increase that number. And I encourage people to be Rotarians, not just members of Rotary. And really, I'm here to work with you AGs and anybody on the call. You can reach out by telephone. You can text me if a quick question or email me. If I can't talk, I'll certainly let you know right away, but I'm here to help you. And I've got a lot of good people behind me that have helped me tremendously. And I'm so thankful that you're all here tonight. And those who aren't here, we're going to show them this video recording later and work with them. So that's all I have. Thank you so much. David, thanks for doing the tech work.
Tom,
And Stacy, yes.
hi. I know I've been so quiet,
I was
hanging
gonna-
out here. If I could have 32 seconds. Uh-oh, somebody switched my. There you go. 32 seconds. Nelda, I'm just so tickled to see you here, and Kim and Donna and Skip. Great seeing you here. So Rennie here and Basil. Great seeing you. One question for you, Basil. What clubs are your assigned clubs?
Mine is my own, Cotterville, and Sunrise.
Okay, so you're
And I
basically,
wanted to talk to Tom and John a little bit after this, if there's time. But
Okay.
Harry passed it on to me in the middle of a pass, so. So,
right. I was going to say, yeah, you're taking over Harry Tart's clubs. So, one, if you have any questions, if you need to get with somebody who has a working knowledge of those three clubs, check with Harry to see if he has any notes. And then also check with John because he has a working knowledge with Harry. And going forward, work with Tom because this is your first year that you're coming on. So there's going to be a lot of us here to help you along the way, just like we are for Nelda and for Kim. There's a couple people who have been here before, but those who are new, Skip, you're right there too. There's a lot of questions that we might automatically think that you know because we've forgotten. Please don't hesitate to step forward and raise your hand and say, I got a question for you. It might be a question we have all forgotten along the way. So
Well,
it's up to you guys to keep us in line.
Harry gave me his book and everything. I just
Great.
want to know, when is this book going to get updated for 2020 and 21?
That book is for 2020-21.
The
The
only,
book-
the only thing that you need a couple of changes on is tab 4, where the assistant governors have.
I don't have tab 4, I have A, B, C, D.
Oh, okay. So yours would be ABC. D would be your assistant governor people, your contact list. That needs to be updated, but everything else should be right in line.
Do you have the master file of that, Stacy? For the, it's probably something that if we update the
Well,
master.
I know, well, first of all, I don't need any help with the St. Charles Club, but the Sunrise in Cotterville, I know most of the people there, so I can find out who I need to talk to.
Okay, right. And also,
So this book is all updated.
yes. And in section C for you, 3 for others, it has the assistant governor's calendar for 2021.
Yeah.
And it gives you a rundown of things to keep in mind, make sure that you're getting these things passed along, and gives you an idea of where you should be.
Well, that's something that needs to be updated too, Stacy. I'm glad you brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
So are we supposed to go to all these?
At this point in the game, because we've already rotated into the new year and we're not in 5 months out in February, I would start with the 2 weeks out, the day 1 of your first year, and start using this calendar going backwards. So start out with 2 weeks out and then go to the 1 month out and the 2 month out. And then that way you're going to be getting the most relevant information from the clubs and to the clubs.
Totally confused, but that's okay.
And it didn't even take me an hour.
No.
Right.
I mean, it says June 24th installation banquet. Is that still valid or not?
No, that's gone. That's why I say, and we're talking about two things. So Stacy's referring to the second page on, which is very helpful when you talk about 3 months, 5 months out. And the first page, the summary of Tom's calendar. As soon as Tom gets that updated, we will send that out to everyone so we have a better idea, because a lot of those things are happening virtual. They are not, there's nothing going on in New Orleans, Columbus, Decatur, and Tulsa. The first DLC, I'm not sure if that's on or not, and those other DLC meetings. So we
Okay,
need,
well, so you guys going to update this for us. Okay, good.
good question, Basil. We need to get that updated and out to you.
The sooner the better.
Yes.
Right. We don't have the district governor's calendar that should be in that section.
When Tom gets that, we'll send it out.
Mhm.
Questions, please let us know. And that was a good question. So don't be bashful. Don't be, please don't think that we'll think anything other than we want to help you come up with an answer. So I will say that same old thing, you know, there's no such thing as a crazy question. So in fact, the crazier the better sometimes, right, Stacy?
Absolutely. I like crazy questions.
But as someone who works with 10 to 12-year-old kids, trust me, there are crazy questions and there are even crazier answers given.
All right. Anything else, Tom?
So we got our next meeting.
I'll have work with John. We'll have a future date very shortly. I'm sorry, I spoke over someone.
Next meeting for this will be the second Tuesday
Stacy,
in August.
It'll be the 11th of August. Right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
Second Tuesday, 6 p.m. Not 6:30, Basil. 6.
I changed it. Yeah, I don't know why I put 6:30.
I'm just giving you trouble. You're welcome to give it back anytime you want.
No. I have a feeling the first email we got from Tom said 6:30, so I'll blame him.
All right.
When in
all
doubt,
right.
blame the leader.
That's right.
That's why he makes the big bucks.
Yes.
Well, you know, St. Charles Club started meeting again in person, but things are not going well in St. Charles right now, so who knows what's going to happen. So we'll see.
Anything we can do to help, Basil?
No, and when I say St. Charles, I'm talking about St. Charles County.
The whole virus thing.
County
Yep,
might-
with COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. I'm not
More
sure.
Rotary masks.
Yeah. But we had our first meeting last week. We only had 25 members, which is not bad, but not good. So we'll see what happens this Thursday.
Yep. Good
I'm
luck.
in contact with Carterville and Sunrise. I don't know if they're meeting or not yet.
We're having our first in-person meeting tomorrow with the Arnold Club, with my home club. So it's tomorrow for the first time. So
Where is
lots of
that?
emails. It's in Arnold.
Arnold? How many people?
Normally we have around 50 each show up. So we'll see how many shows up tomorrow. I don't know.
Interesting. John and Tom.
Yes.
The new president and I were meeting every month this past year for about 2 hours. Pam set up an event in DACTB, and the members can go in and pick the food they want because the food now is all sealed. So we know exactly how many meals to prepare. The choices are not big, but they're still pretty good. You know, it's like ham or turkey or salad, and that's about it. So that worked out pretty good. So the members can literally go in and pick the meals.
That's very good. I know, I heard on the news that professional basketball players are not happy about their food service at their workouts because they're used to, a deluxe buffet or something, but now they have that. But, so
Lucky
you're
to
being
have.
proactive. That's really commendable.
Julie, how many glasses have you had so far?
Just one. I'm down to the fruit now.
Tom, the High Ridge Club has met 2 weeks in a row now. The Club of 35. First meeting, they had 8 in person. Second meeting, they had 7 in person. That was today. They started running, starting today, they started doing the live on Facebook at the same time. So any members who would like to attend, but I'm gonna have to call and tell them, I tried to attend that way and it's not effective. So I think we're gonna have to try and come back with a different idea of maybe 1 or 2 per month being virtual and 1 or 2 per month being in person. So it's a struggle, but just to let you know how many people are willing to come out down here in Jefferson County on this side of the county. So Margie, I'll be interested to see how many people come to Arnold.
And I want to say congratulations to the High Ridge Club. They got their president-elect in the system.
Good. Oh, and
Who did they put down? They didn't put me down, did they?
Let me check my resource manual.
About your turn.
I sent them a card to congratulate them. Lindsay.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I sent her a
Wonderful.
card in the mail to congratulate her. And I was like, oh my God, I got that email from Stacy that said it wouldn't be until November or December. So.
We've been working on Lindsay for a while, and she just finished up her gig as a president for the chamber. So I guess.
Oh, that Lindsay. Okay, I
Uh-huh.
know her then. Okay. Yeah, I sent her a card and congratulated her and welcomed her aboard and gave her my information. So, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I can start going to the meetings again and take a deep breath.
Yeah. I can send them a note though and tell them that you're interested.
Oh, thank you. That is so sweet of you, but no, thank you. Not just yet.
Bowling Green met in person today, and we had probably 50% of the membership actually in personal attendance, and I'm still in the loop at Hannibal's Club, and Hannibal is, like Bowling Green, is trying to do virtual and in person, so I don't have and their president is very enthusiastic about engagement with people, so feeling really optimistic about the North.
good. And I would encourage people to try a happy hour evening Rotary meeting. Is and keep it light and hopefully get some. And just don't forget the people who don't show up. Just don't let them be forgotten. So,
You're talking about happy hour virtual?
yeah.
Yeah.
Bring your favorite cocktail or not cocktail and
There you go, Julie. Well, we've done that. We've done it with trivia. Happy hour trivia. We only had 2 rounds, and we raised. There were like 10 of us, and we raised $500 just like that.
great.
Wow,
Great.
that's awesome.
Well, with the, I think I need to go do some things. I'm sorry to cut this short, but Basil, if you want to talk, I've got to do some things tonight that I'm behind on.
I got my answer, so.
Oh, good. That's awesome. Thanks for stepping up. And Nelda, thanks for
I'll go
being
through the
here.
book Harry gave me.
Skip, I'll call you Skip if you're still on with us.
Right.
And John, thanks so much. And Stacy, your book is amazing. I mean, it's amazing.
I don't know that it's amazing, but I hope that by having it, it's at least makes the online stuff less frustrating.
Yeah,
And
the only thing is we got to keep it up to date.
Yeah.
I think at least all of us here I presume we answer emails and texts and everything. I mean, I answer them instantly. We gotta use that. We gotta use, I don't even want to think of what we did when we had the mimeograph machines.
What's the mimeograph machine?
Yeah. I know.
I'm kidding.
I loved it
I'm
because
old too.
it always made the halls smell really good at school.
It did.
Right.
I especially like the copy machines when you turned them and cranked them out.
Machine, yeah. When you first came out, you put your face on it, I know. All right, anyway, is that it?
I think so. I'm done.
I'm done.
Johnny,
Nice to see you all.
I'm done. Thank you all so
Bye.
much.
thank you so much.
Take care, all.
Good night.
Thanks, David.
Bye, John.